American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To begin this hour in Capitol Hill, where Senator Cory Booker has staged an all-night speech criticizing President Trump's agenda, and he's still going. Critics have called this a stunt. Supporters say it's an extraordinary display of democracy. Booker took to the podium at 7 o'clock last night, saying he would go on as long as he could because he feels the country is in crisis.
These are not normal times in America. And they should not be treated as such. John Lewis, so many heroes before us would say that this is the time to stand up, to speak up. This is the time to get in some good trouble, to get into necessary trouble.
All right, let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian to talk more about this. So again, Nicole, I mean, he's been going on for almost 12 hours, more than 12 hours now. What's he talking about specifically, and what is he hoping to accomplish here?
Well, basically, he is doing this in protest of the Trump administration policies. He has spent the better part of maybe 15 hours now at this juncture really decrying everything from the president's mass deportation plans to trying to dismantle the Department of Education to the closure of USAID. He has also talked about Republican efforts to, in his view, gut Medicaid, Social Security. So, you name it, the senator is pretty upset about it. And that is why he is taking to the floor. He's also criticizing Congress to a certain extent as well, particularly more of his Republican colleagues for, in his view, turning a blind eye to what is going on. He accused the Trump administration of trying to weaken the legislative branch and basically accusing Republicans of just sitting by as this is happening. So accusing the administration kind of an illegal power grab, if you will. So that has been kind of the crux of the senator's speech. At times, he has taken questions from some of his fellow Democratic colleagues, but this comes as, Democratic members, voters, constituents have really said, they want to see Democrats get angry. They want them to take more of a forceful stance against the administration. So unclear if this is kind of in direct response to some of those criticisms, but certainly by doing this, it has grabbed a lot of attention.
So this isn't considered a filibuster. Explain that to our audience.
Yeah, that's right, because basically there's no legislation on the floor right now or nomination on the floor right now that the senator is holding up. So in that case, that would be considered a filibuster. Basically, what he is doing is just keeping the floor open in a way that they cannot conduct additional business. So the senator has said that he will do this as long as he is physically able. And as I mentioned, he has kind of gotten a periodic assist from his Democratic colleagues. Certainly one of the longest records we've seen in terms of holding the floor in a similar manner is the late Strom Thurmond, who went for more than 24 hours. So again, we'll have to see how long the senator plans to go. But he started this speech last night at about 7 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, now we're here at about 10 a.m. So still going strong. He said he has plenty left in his tank. Vlad.
He is Spartacus after all, Nicole. We'll check in.
Pretty interesting, isn't it? When a CBS host says, what is he talking about? Yeah. Another Democrat member of Congress inciting violence.
That's what he's talking about. Democrat Senator Cory Booker, quote, "These are not normal times in America." Quote, "They should be treated as such." Quote, "This is the time to stand up, to speak up." Quote, "To get into some good trouble, to get into necessary trouble." Well, obviously his own staff members feel the same way, because one of them brought a gun today into the Capitol and got his ass arrested. A staff member who, by the way, knows better because he's a retired law enforcement officer. He was arrested for carrying a pistol without a license after being escorted into the Capitol around security by a member of Congress. Could not make this up if you tried, folks. But first, you got many places to be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you very, very much. If you're new to the show, we go out live on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Rumble, on X, formerly Twitter. We also do our on LinkedIn, and tonight we're trying to do on the Facebook page for the Douglas Ducote Show. The last time we attempted to do that, Facebook would not allow it to be shown live. So I don't know if they're doing it live tonight or not, but we're going to give it another shot. And then afterwards, we upload the video to our YouTube channel, The Douglas Ducote Show, as well as douglasducote.com, our website. So please go there and check it out. But before we dive into continuing about Cory Booker, I would like to give a shout out to my father, Mike Ducote, who's 87 years young today. Yep, he was born on April Fool's Day in 1938. His father, my grandfather, loved to tell a story to me about when my dad was born. Now, I don't know if this was a true story or not. Got no reason to believe that he wasn't telling me the truth, but I heard him tell me this. He probably told me this story about 5 or 6 times throughout his life. And I always found it very, very funny. You see, back in the 30s, the men weren't allowed in the delivery room, just women, and of course the mother giving birth, and the father, family members had to wait out in a lobby area, in a waiting room, until the doctor came out, and the doctor would come out and tell you the results. And just so happened that after my dad was born, the doctor came out and walked into the waiting room and said, "Mr. Ducote, congratulations, you have a brand new, healthy baby girl." And of course, my grandpa was like, "Wow," and everybody's like congratulating each other, all the family members, everything. He goes, "It's like April Fools, you have a boy," and then walked out of the room. So again, like I say, none of us were there to hear it, but I always thought that was a very funny ass story, and I enjoy sharing it. So happy birthday, Dad. You can identify as a woman these days if you would like to. My dad watches the show religiously, so does all my family. So Dad, if you need to, hey, you can throw in that woman card and identify at any time you would like. So happy birthday to my father. He's a great, great man who raised me up properly. He's also a military veteran. He served in the Korean War in the infantry, and then went on to join the Louisiana National Guard afterwards and became a member of the 20th Special Forces Group, and served in during the Vietnam conflict. And then later on in life, he chose to go into the Air National Guard and became a loadmaster on what is known as was known as the C-124 Globemaster, which is a big, huge 4-engine cargo aircraft back then. And I remember asking Dad once, why did you decide after active duty Army and Army National Guard to go into the Air Force? And his answer was, because I needed to learn something besides how to kill people, son. So he went into the Air Force to learn a trade. So anyhow, shout out to Dad. I love you very, very much. And I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Okay, so the United States Capitol Police released a statement today, said yesterday afternoon a member of Congress led an ID'd staff member around security screening at the Hart Senate office building. Later that evening, outside the Senate galleries, the ID'd staff member, who is a retired law enforcement officer, told our officers that he was armed. The staff member was 59-year-old Kevin A. Bates of New Jersey, and he was calmly arrested right there on the spot in the Senate for carrying a pistol without a license. All weapons are prohibited from Capitol grounds, even if you are a retired law enforcement officer, or even if you have a concealed weapons permit, even if it was issued by Washington, D.C. You can't do that. Bates is listed as a special assistant to Senator Cory Booker, Democrat, New Jersey. In a statement released to the media, Congressman Booker's spokesperson, Jeff Gazetz, said Senator Booker's office employs a retired Newark police detective as a New Jersey-based driver who often accompanies him to events. We are working to get a better understanding of the circumstances around this. Now, going back to 2016, Booker shared a video of Bates on social media, so he's known him for quite some time, identifying Bates as a former detective in the Newark Police Department. At the time, Bates said he had worked within the city of Newark and Booker's office, totaling 28 years before retiring and then going full-time with Senator Booker. Kevin Bates has been a friend and team member since 2006, when I became mayor, and even before, said Senator Booker on his Instagram account. I so deeply appreciate his steadfast friendship, incredible dedication to Newark, and now his service to the state. Kevin was raised in Columbus Homes Project in Newark, then spent 6 years in the United States Army Reserves, and then joined the Newark Police Department and became a detective in 2004. In 2006, he joined my security detail as a member of Newark's Executive Protection Unit. In 2013, he joined my Senate staff. I am truly blessed by his friendship and hard work. Bates' arrest comes as Booker continues to break records of one of the longest floor speeches in American Senate history. Why? To disrupt Congress from getting anything accomplished in the last 24 hours. The senator who began speaking Monday night now holds the fourth longest Senate floor speech, recently surpassing Senator Robert Law Florentine, Republican, Wisconsin, who spoke for 18 hours and 23 minutes back in 1908. Senator is what you constitute, let me back up. Senator Booker, is this what the people of your district sent you, or the people of your state sent you to do in Congress? To disrupt the Senate so they can't conduct any business? Business for we the people? If so, you've done a great job of accomplishing that task. And before I came on tonight, he was still talking. So, and he's talking about all kinds of horrible stuff about Donald Trump. Shit that's just not true. And the more he talks, the less sleep he gets. He's not getting any sleep. He's just standing up there running his mouth. And it's really sad. It's a sad state of affairs that the Democrat members of Congress and the Senate are in right now. Going back to hell before Trump won, and now they're just doubling down on stupid. I mean, think about this. Well, you don't know this unless you've been watching him today doing this. And I've been tuning in and out, watching part of what he's been saying. But let me just be very clear and short to the point. He is talking about all the horrible things that Donald Trump is doing to this country. And in doing so, he's basically repeating the same talking points that the Democrats used, which lost them the House, the Senate, and 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I mean, that's stuck on stupid if there ever was. How do you not come to the realization that everything you've been saying isn't working? It's not resonating with the American people. They did not vote you back into power. And if you continue this, you're never going to get back into power. And this is a party that I used to belong to. I was a Democrat for many, many years. Until I woke up one day and realized that the party was being hijacked by far-left liberal ideology. And I got out of it. I unasked that party as quick as I could. I realized they were nothing but a bunch of racists. And it wasn't just racist against black people, although they got a history of that. Founding the KKK, fighting tooth and nail against Abraham Lincoln, freeing the slaves, fighting for segregation, Planned Parenthood, they founded that. They founded the KKK, lynching black people. I mean, the history of the Democrat Party, man, it is freaking unbelievable. And then, of course, you got the liberals today to say that, oh, well, the party changed and it switched. And it's no longer the Democrat Party does that. Now it's the Republicans that are the racists. Well, if that's so, tell me why the Democrats are still stuck on the racism thing. And maybe some of you are asking, old Doug, what are you talking about? Pick any major metropolitan city within the United States of America that's run by a Democrat mayor. And that, my friends, is where you have the epidemic, and it is an epidemic, of black on black crime. Black youth gunning each other down in the streets on a hour, hell, not even in minutes. By the time this show is over with tonight, at least 100 or more black youth will be shot and probably 20 to 30 will die in Democrat-run parts of towns. They're doing nothing, absolutely nothing, to help the black communities in these towns. Look at all of them. Pick one. New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Chicago, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Memphis, Oakland, San Francisco. I mean, just go across the map. Look at all of them. Pick one. I don't care which one. That's where you're going to find the black on black crime. What else are you going to find in those locations? Unless you're stuck on stupid, you already know. That's where you're going to find Antifa. That's where you're going to find these far-left liberals that are torching, setting on fire Elon Musk's dealerships and doing damage to his cars. So you don't find that violence and that type of hatred and racism in Republican areas, because we don't stand for that shit. And we go in and we raise up these communities and we help them with their infrastructure and their housing and their youth to get them off the streets and get them doing productive things. But yet, if you listen to any liberal out there, they're going to make you believe that the Republicans are now the racist party. And that is so stuck on stupid that it's sad. I'm embarrassed to say that I used to belong to that party. And I was a staunch Democrat, folks. I mean, I admit it. Now, in my teens and in my early youth, I didn't know the history of that party. I didn't know how much hatred they had. So these Democrats like Cory Booker, Anita Presley, Alejandro Omar, Rashid Tlaib, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, and Cory Booker, all the rest of them out there, Schumer, doesn't matter. Pick a member of the Democrat Party up in Washington, D.C., in the House or the Senate. And what did they all run on and lost on this election? The same thing they're still doubling down on. Donald J. Trump, his family, his supporters, the MAGA movement are racist, bigots, skinheads, Nazis that want to destroy America. Open borders, allowing rapists and murderers. Hell, they're fighting Donald Trump right now. Right now. If you listen to them in front of Congress, running their mouths right now, it's like you went into the Twilight Zone. All these horrible gang members that have been designated as terrorists, they're talking about like as if there's some just the only crime was they're here illegally, and that we're separating them from their wife and their kids. And they're just look at what these horrible Republicans are doing. Look what Donald Trump's doing. Flying them all off to Venezuela. And now we've got judges, federal judges stepping in to help them try and stop Trump's agenda. They want open borders. They want these people to be able to vote for them. That's what this is all about. So if you side with terrorists, and we're talking the worst of the worst, that's who's being arrested right now. We're not separating innocent couples that came across our border illegally and did nothing else wrong. That's not who is being deported. Rapists, murderers, child molesters, drug traffickers, gang members. And the Democrat Party up in Washington, D.C., I'm saying all Democrats. I'm saying the ones in Washington that are representing you, the Democrats in this country, are all for that. And so are these federal judges that are siding with them. If you side with these horrible, despicable human beings, they're not, let's call them what they are. They're subhuman. If you side with them over the American people, you're a sick and twisted, fucked up person that needs to be censored. And I'm not talking about just in Congress. I'm talking about deported the fuck out of here. Pack your shit up and deport you to another country where you have to live for at least a year to learn a little bit of respect for the American people. Send them to Gaza. Send them to Saudi Arabia. They will come begging to come back to this country. Send them to Venezuela, to Ecuador, to Mexico. I don't care. Fuck, send them to Canada. You know, the people in Canada, you know what they do when they need health care? They come across the border down here. Why? Because of socialized medicine. Because they don't have a year to 2 years on a waiting list to get major medical issues done. And if you're over the age of 80 in Canada, guess what? If you need a life-saving something, whether it's a kidney or a heart transplant, whatever, you're not going to get it. Not happening. That's what socialized medicine does for you. And that's what the Democrats up in Washington, D.C. want to happen here in America. So they're doubling down on all this stuff. Defund the police. Going out, still spreading the same shit. Supporting terrorists on college campuses all across America. They're okay with them committing violence. Have you heard a single Democrat speak out? I'm talking about the Democrats in Washington, D.C., in the House and the Senate. Have you heard any of them come out and condemn Antifa or BLM, the radicals? You haven't. Have you heard them condemn the illegals that are here that are gang members, that are rapists and murderers and child molesters? Have you heard a single Democrat in Washington, D.C. come out and on the record condemn them and say they don't belong here in this country? We don't want that type of person here. Nope. Not happening. That's the same shit, folks, that got them to lose the election in a massive way. Trump didn't just win the Electoral College. He won the popular vote. He kept the House. He took the Senate. And tonight, we're going to talk about here in just a minute, we're adding to it, which most of the Democrats and liberals don't even realize about the special election that just took place in Florida tonight. Not a clue what's going on down there. And we're going to talk about that next. But the point is, how dumb can you possibly be when everything you do and everything you say is overwhelmingly rejected by we the people, except for the far left liberal ones, and that you still keep doing it, thinking that you're going to get a different outcome this time? The last time Trump was in office for 4 years, they tied him up with lawsuit after lawsuit, personal lawsuits. They brought in people to lie about him and make up stories and shit. They couldn't even, there was no way to prove it. But the liberal justice system, run by Democrat judges and Democrat-run areas of the country, allowed him to be convicted. The woman that he supposedly sexually molested and assaulted, and they started off by saying he raped her in a clothing store. You know what the evidence was of that? You know what the evidence was that they used to convict Donald Trump with? There wasn't any. She couldn't remember the date. She couldn't remember the exact time. There was no video footage. She didn't even say anything about this for years. In fact, she didn't even file a lawsuit until she came out to write a book and started trashing Trump for something that he didn't even know this woman. So then he started trashing her back. And that's what got him convicted of sexual assault with no evidence. Zero evidence. No DNA, no pictures, no witnesses. Her word against his. With a Democrat judge in a Democrat-run area where Trump didn't stand a chance. And that's just one case of many that they threw at him. Look at the Mar-a-Lago document bullshit. In the middle of that, we find out that Joe Biden was doing the same shit and didn't have the authority to declassify anything because he started doing this as a member of Congress and then as a vice president. And then this justice system under him decided they're not going to prosecute him because, oh, what did they say? Oh, he's an old, feeble man that if put on the witness stand, no juror would convict him. They would feel sorry for him because he can't remember anything. He's not mentally all there. But he can run the fucking country. Are you shitting me? And we, the people, watch this shit play out. We've been watching it for 8+ years. The fraud bullshit of Russia, collusion. No Russia collusion. The calls to Ukraine that supposedly were horrible and quid pro quo and all that bullshit didn't happen. And then 2 impeachment trials. 4 years of that shit we watched. And then we watched the lawsuits continue to build up in the next 4 years while Biden was in office. And then what's the outcome of all this? Billions of that money, of your money, Democrats and liberals, pissed right down the drain. Because Teflon Don is protected by a higher power, one that you guys don't worship. God. Yeah. You even tried to assassinate him. Not once, but twice. And why did all this shit happen? The assassination attempts? The attacks on Republicans out there wearing MAGA hats? Or wearing red, God forbid? Where did they get these ideas from? What made them think that it's okay to go do this? Democrat members of Congress inciting violence. And then, to this day, the Democrats are still saying, oh, well, look at J6, January 6th. Yeah, look at J6. We've all done that. But you're too stupid to follow the fucking lines, follow the money trail, follow the evidence, follow the same shit that I reported on. And that is that it was all a setup to destroy Donald Trump. The FBI was bussing in informants to pretend to be Trump supporters to incite violence. That's entrapment. And then, who died that day? I tell you who died. A female veteran who was a Trump supporter was shot and killed by a Capitol Police officer. Just her. Nobody else. Now, Trump gets in office and he pardoned all those folks, except for the ones that actually hurt and injured a police officer or did destruction of property. They're still sitting in jail right now. But the Democrats aren't going to tell you that. The liberals aren't going to tell you that. Oh, no. They don't want to know the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear the lies that they were told by their party in the House, in the Senate, and all that bullshit that they did with the J6 committee. Think about this for a minute, Democrats and liberals. Joe Biden gave a blanket pardon to the members of the House that were on that select committee for any crimes they may have committed on the committee during the time from the start to finish. What? Why would you do that? Supposedly all this was true. Supposedly all this took place. There's so much more shit out there. Things that I know about that I haven't even talked about yet on my show. Some of it I can't talk about yet, but the time's coming. Oh boy, the time's coming. History's going to go down to show you And I don't even think it's going to be, we're not talking history 50 years from now. I'm talking about before Trump's term's up in this 4 years, that history is going to lay out exactly what J6 was about. 100%, I guarantee you, I promise you, I give you my word. I know what's coming. But the Democrats up in Washington, D.C. are going to continue to spew their same hatred and bigotry and racism that they're doing right now. And you're going to soak it up like a fucking sponge. And you're going to believe them because you're not smart enough to do your own fucking homework. You're not smart enough to tune in to these hearings, to watch C-SPAN, to pay attention to what's being said and the evidence that's being presented. No, you just listen to people like Cory Booker and Jasmine Crockett and AOC, and you fucking believe that shit. And once all the evidence out there and everything's all laid out, doesn't matter. The Democrats in D.C. are still going to be stuck on stupid, and they're going to continue to push their same talking points, along with their news media outlets like MSNBC and CNN, the fake news, that just went right along with it. Oh, man, there's so much about J6 that I can't wait to tell you guys about. It's going to blow your minds. And it's coming soon to the Douglas Ducote Show. So let's talk about Florida. Trump-endorsed Republican Randy Fine emerged victorious in one of two special elections in Florida tonight. Fine will be taking over former Congressman Mike Waltz's seat in Florida's 6th congressional district after Waltz vacated the seat to become President Donald Trump's national security advisor. Fine outlasted Democrat John Well, a public school employee and political newcomer who raised nearly 10 times more money than Fine did and still lost. Florida's 6th district, located in the Sunshine State's Atlantic coast from Daytona Beach to south of St. Augustine and inland to the outskirts of Ocala, was carried overwhelmingly by former GOP Congressman Waltz back in 2024. President Trump also won the 6th congressional district in 2024 with a significant margin, 30 points. Republican victory came in the closest election for Florida's 6th district since 2018, when former Congressman Waltz beat out his Democrat opponent by 13 points. Each substantial election, Waltz won at least 60% of the vote. Tonight's unusual close race, widely seen as a referendum on President Trump's first few months in office, and carries implications for the broader battle for power in Congress. There were fears that a loss in both or either of Florida's election today, the special election, would deal a significant blow to the Republican majority in the House of Representatives, which, yes, has dwindled down, but only because Trump pulled several Republicans to be in his cabinet, such as Waltz to join the cabinet. Aimed these concerns, GOP New York Representative Elisa Stefanik, nominated to be Trump's ambassador to the United Nations, was actually pulled by Trump last week. Not because she did anything wrong, but because we can't give up these seats right now. The campaign war chest for the Democrats in this election was $10 million, and the Republicans was $1 million. If that doesn't show you the direction of this country, wake up. You're asleep at the wheel. keep talking the way you are, Democrats up in Washington, D.C. Please, please continue with the hate, the bigotry, the racism, calling us Nazis, calling us Hitler, calling us KKK. Keep all that up. Keep saying we're destroying the country. We're a threat to democracy. Keep doing it. Keep wanting open borders. Keep preaching that Trump is sending innocent people to Venezuela, not gang members. Please keep doing that. Stay on the exact same path that you're on right now, that you don't even attempt to show even a slight bit of backing the fuck off of. And the Democrat Party will never be in control of this country in our lifetime, at least in mine. I'll be 63 in 17 more days. And I've seen a lot of ups and downs in America. Democrats and Republicans repeatedly clashed today during a lengthy hearing on what the GOP calls activist judges blocking President Trump's agenda. The House Judiciary Committee subcommittees on the Constitution and on courts held the joint hearings in preparation for a House-wide vote on legislation that would limit district judges' ability to issue nationwide injunctions. The bill is currently stalled. However, after an unrelated fight on proxy voting paralyzed the House floor. During the hearing, Democrats repeatedly tried to press Republicans on the issue of judiciary impeachments, something pushed by conservatives, but that House GOP leaders have shown little appetite on pursuing. Some guy I've never heard of, he might be in Congress, introduced an impeachment resolution, and he's not here. Representative Eric Swalwell, Democrat California, said of an impeachment resolution targeting U.S. District Judge James Boasberg, by Representative Brandon Gill, Republican Texas. He hasn't been here for at least the last hour, and every witness here is in agreement that we really shouldn't be impeaching judges. I haven't heard a single colleague on the other side say we should be impeaching judges. That's funny, Swalwell, because I remember you saying that the judges that were siding against Biden and Harris, for instance, doing away with college kids having to pay back their loans, that those judges need to be impeached. That came out of your mouth, Swalwell. You fucking hypocrite. Representative Darrell Isis, Republican California, who was co-chairing the hearing alongside Representative Chip Roy of Texas, asked Swalwell to yield his time. But the Democrat congressman refused. I don't think they have anything to talk about with the bills, since they offered a similar bill, and even the Solicitor General, as of late October of last year in the Biden administration, wanted exactly what we're moving out of the committee today. Isis told the news media about Democrat ploy. Representative Gerald Mawatsky, Democrat Florida, compared conservatives' push to impeachment judges to House Republicans' impeachment inquiry efforts into former President Joe Biden, which ultimately did not end in any such proceedings. I guess we're taking a page out of the House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer's playbook. We're just doing fake impeachments, Mawatsky told the news media. But Roy, who co-led the hearing with Isis, told the news media it was about trying to make clear that you've got a handful of judges acting clearly politically to stop the administration from doing what they were elected to do by we the people, by the Electoral College, as well as the popular vote. It's pretty clear that my Democrat colleagues prefer to defend the right of MS-13 gang members, rapists, murderers, drug traffickers, child molesters, clearly here illegally from being deported, Roy said. But Representative Scott Fitzgerald, Republican Wisconsin, another member of the committee, said at least one goal was to raise the profile of the issue. Meanwhile, the more headlines a hearing like this gets, it clearly sets it on a plate for Chief Justice Roberts to take action and try to control the courts again. It's not immediately clear when ISIS bill will get a vote after Speaker Mike Johnson, Republican Louisiana, announced House floor activities were canceled for the rest of this week. Mike Johnson is right here in Louisiana from me, my state. Mike Johnson, you need to do a better job. We're watching what you're doing. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Republicans and the conservatives in this country that voted Donald Trump into office are not liking the way you're handling yourself up there. And you either straighten up and fly right, or we're going to take you out of office. We're going to vote you out when it comes time. If not, the other members of the Republican Party in the House are going to get a vote together and kick you the fuck out of the speakership position. So wake up. I think you're a good man. I met you in person. I was 100% for you becoming Speaker of the House. And now I'm watching some of the shit you're doing. Not liking it, sir. And neither is the rest of the conservatives and Republicans. Listen to your state. And then listen to the Republicans across this country. It's looking up to you as Speaker of the House. They're not happy, sir. Not at all. Now, there's something about to go down that the news media is kind of glassing over at the moment. I've talked about this in the past many times. And that is that Iran is the #1 state sponsor of terrorism on planet Earth. Hamas and Hezbollah and many other Middle Eastern terrorist organizations are supported by Iran with military equipment and money to go after Jews and American service members. And Iranian military equipment and weapons have been used to kill American service members, my brothers and sisters, on the battlefields in Iraq and in Afghanistan and many other places across the country. Many other covert activities that we don't talk about. Iran has said, once we get the ability to put a nuclear weapon on an intercontinental ballistic missile, we're going to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. That's their goal. That's what they've been saying. Well, Joe Biden gave them billions of fucking dollars that were frozen. And then they turn around and pump that into Hamas to do what they did with the attack on Israel. They got this whole freaking war started over there. Listen to me closely. And then, if you doubt what I'm telling you, I want you to go, everybody knows a veteran, I'm sure, or somebody that's currently in the military. I'm not talking about young veterans, or I'm not talking about young service members. Talk to vets that are at least in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, that know about Iran and know about its history. Here's the deal. They are radical, the people running it, not the people of Iran. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the regime. I'm talking about the military leadership, the government leadership, and the Ayatollah. They're radical Islamic terrorism, and they support radical Islamic terrorism against the West, against Israel. There's only one way to stop them. Diplomacy doesn't work. Talking to them doesn't work. Negotiations do not work. There's only one way to stop them, and it should have been done a long time ago. And it's about to happen. And that is, you bomb the living shit out of the place. Now, I'm not talking about their cities. I'm not talking about their people. No. There needs to be a massive shock and awe, which tune in to your local television stations because you're about to see it, folks. Taking out their entire military industrial complex. Their Air Force, their naval forces, their ground forces, their command and control centers, their military installations, and their nuclear weapon facilities. And while you're at it, whether or not they're going to take this next step, I don't know that. But I will suggest it now. And so will anyone else that's out there that's around my age that served in the United States military will tell you this exact same thing. You also have to target the leadership. Yes, bomb their damn house. Wherever they live, their offices. They're equivalent to our Pentagon. They're equivalent to our Capitol. They're equivalent to our Congress. You kill them. That's how it works. There is no choice. I'm not advocating for war. I hate war. I'll be the first person to tell you, after serving and deploying for this country 4 separate times to combat zones, that I hate it. I don't want to see it happen ever again. But there comes a point where if nothing else works, the talking doesn't work, the negotiations don't work, sanctions don't work, you have to take military action. I'm not talking about boots on the ground. We do not need boots on the ground in Iran. We didn't need boots on the ground in Iraq, for crying out loud. Or Afghanistan, as far as I'm concerned. Our United States Air Force and our United States Navy has the capability to deploy assets, which are already taking place as I speak, to use missiles and bombs and drones to take out everything that I just finished talking about in a massive shock and awe and destroy them. Now, Donald Trump just sent a letter to the Ayatollah through the embassy in Washington saying that either you come to the table and negotiate in good faith to stop your nuclear weapons program, where you're saying you want to kill everybody in Israel and wipe Israel off the face of the earth, or we're going to bomb the shit out of you. That's what Donald Trump said. Okay? So Iran now is saying we're working up a preempted strike, and we're going to strike the military installations throughout the Middle East that have American service members. Now, you go ahead and do that. See where it's going to get you. And it's going to be devastating. But it's what's needed, not just for peace in the Middle East, to stop these terrorist organizations, but for world peace and to save Israel from a nuclear holocaust. And if you think they would stop there, you're hitting that Hunter Biden crack pipe, because they won't. A Honduran illegal alien accused of murdering a Georgia mother of 5 in a random attack earlier this month faces additional charges, including rape and necrophilia. If you don't know what that means, let me explain it to you. After he killed her, he had sex with her corpse. That's the kind of people that we're trying to take out of our country. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, said Hector David Rivers, age 21, has been the subject of a deportation order since July of 2023. Earlier this month, he was charged with capital murder in the death of Camilla Williams, a 52-year-old mother of 5 and a grandmother. Her body was then dumped in a wooded area in Cobb County, Georgia, authorities said. Prosecutors filed additional charges against Rivers on Friday, including malice murder, aggravated assault, rape, aggravated sexual battery, and necrophilia, having sex with her body after she was dead. Williams' family told local media outlets that she said a man had been following her in the days leading up to the night she was killed. Authorities have not determined the suspect's connection to the Williams family. An arrest warrant states that Rivers assaulted Williams, placing her in a chokehold, causing her to lose consciousness between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. on March 12th, according to Fox Atlanta. Once unconscious, Rivers told police he put both knees of his body weight on her neck to cause her to die. Now, do you think it can get worse than that? The Department of Homeland Security said in a statement that Rivers entered the United States illegally on March 17, 2021. Follow along here, liberals and Democrats. And was arrested by U.S. Border Patrol. He was issued a notice to appear at a parole into the country by the Biden-Harris administration, the statement said. A judge ordered him removed on July 11th, 2023. On March 18th, 2025, he was arrested by Cobb County Police for capital murder, along with the other crimes that I just mentioned. ICE has lodged an immigration detainer with the Cobb County Jail. President Donald Trump and Secretary Noem will not allow criminal illegal aliens, including those accused of murder, to be loose in American streets. Thankfully, the DOJ made sure that he has no bond and he's not going to get out of jail anytime soon. He came across this border when he was picked up, and they knew about all of his crimes in his former country of hurting people. And they let that son of a bitch walk free. And it ain't just him. There are thousands of them walking amongst us right now, committing horrible crimes every single minute of the day. Thanks to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the way they ran their administration. And finally tonight, California far-left liberal Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom defended his newest podcast venture as an attempt to rehabilitate the toxic Democrat Party as it struggles to find its way out of the political wilderness after losing both houses of Congress and the White House last November. Democrat brand is toxic right now, Newsom said during the interview with news show host liberal Bill Maher. Democrats, we tend to be a little more judgmental than we should be. We talk down the people. We talk past people. The governor sparked controversy last month after he hosted MAGA strategist Steve Bannon on his Gavin Newsom show and told far-right youth movement influencer Charlie Kirk it was deeply unfair for transgender athletes to compete against women. So this far-left liberal governor, Gavin Newsom of California, is waking the fuck up and realizing what I realized a long time ago. The Democrat Party has lost its way. It's been hijacked by far-left liberals, stuck on stupid and doubling down as we speak. When you lose CBS, who you just saw in the beginning of tonight's program, going, what the hell is Cory Booker talking about? And you lose the most far-left liberal governor who's destroyed the state of California? What does that say about your party? He was the shining example of what was going to be taking over the Democrat Party in the near future. You think these liberals are going to vote for him now? I don't know who they're going to put up there. I hope they put Jasmine Crockett up there or AOC. Please. What would that be a debate? Can you imagine Jasmine Crockett going up against anybody? It's probably going to be J.D. Vance that'll be running for president to take over Donald Trump's position when he is done with his 4 years. But I don't care who it is that the Republicans put up against somebody like a Jasmine Crockett. We can pick Barney the Purple Dinosaur, and we don't even know who the hell's wearing that ridiculous fucking costume. And he can get up there and go, I love you, you love me, all that bullshit, and still win over that radical fucking bullshit that's taken over the Democrat Party. It's a joke. Saturday Night Live is even going after him now because even they can't believe the stupidity coming out of Washington, D.C. And thankfully, many Democrats across this nation, they're hardworking Americans, are waking up to it and finally listening to what the representatives up in Washington are saying and going, wait a fucking minute. What? Anyhow, you had any place you can be tonight. You chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. I thank you very, very much. I'll be back on Thursday night for another live broadcast of the Douglas Ducote Show. I hope you will tune in. Please share the show with your family and friends. Let them know if they have little kids that every now and then Mr. Doug says a bad word or two, or in some cases, a lot of bad words. Hey, I served in the Army. What can I tell you? In basic training, that was part of our. That was part of the standard operating procedure. The word "fuck." All right. Ask anybody that served and went through basic training in the Marine Corps or in the Army back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even probably into the early 90s. I don't care if you were just brought up, born and raised in the church, and you went there every Wednesday and every Sunday. You came out of basic training going, what the fuck? And that continued throughout your career. All right. Anyhow, thank you so much, folks. If something breaks between now and Thursday night show, I will either do a live broadcast about it or I'll put out a video about it. Other than that, maybe I'll put out something that's kind of cool for you to check out. Like, for instance, what I did with the geese up here recently, with the little baby geese that are hatching all over the place at the moment. It's really cool to see that with all the chaos that's going on in the world. I went out there again tonight and and sat there with the mother and with the parents of these little babies. There's 6 little babies. And I was feeding them. We have cracked corn that we feed them. And I was just, it's like it takes me to another place. All of a sudden, I see God's creation and how wonderful it is and how innocent that is. And there are people that don't feel that way, that would do damage to these geese if they get the opportunity. I'm not one of those people anymore. I grew up hunting and fishing in Louisiana on a regular basis. And then after many years in the military, decided that I couldn't kill another living thing with a heartbeat unless it's in self-defense. So I don't hunt anymore. In fact, I don't even fish anymore. I catch and release, but it's very cool to see Mother Nature. And for me, for some reason, these geese around here, and we've got a bunch of them. There's probably over 200 in our neighborhood. It puts me at peace, and I like that. So, all right, folks, take care. God bless you all. Have a wonderful and safe night. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders and their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families in our country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless each and every one of you. Take care and good night.